Ching, 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 ching. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the pre-market show today. It is episode 114, and we're going to have some live data coming out of the U.S. in any second. We have GDP, Q1 second estimates. We have PCE data. We also have jobless claims. Let's get over to the data, and let's see what the data is. Everybody get ready to trade.
Free spot 8%, as expected. US PCE price index month on month, 0.4%, lower than the forecast of 0.5%. US initial jobless claims, 215K, higher than the forecast of 210.5K. US GDP quarter on quarter second estimate, 1.6%, lower than the forecast of 2%. US durable goods, 7.9%, higher than the forecast of 4%. US core PCE price index year on year, 3.3%, as expected. US core PCE price index month on month, 0.2%, lower than forecast of 0.3%. US consumer spending month on month, 0.5%, as expected. US GDP price index 3.5%, lower than the forecast of 3.6%. US personal income month on month, 0%, lower than forecast of 0.4%. US real personal consumption month on month, 0.1%, as expected. US GDP deflator SA prelim, 3.5%. US core durable goods, 1.1%, higher than forecast of 0.5%. Canadian current account, minus 7.18 billion. That is lower than the forecast of minus 4.265 billion. US core PC price premium, 4.4%, higher than forecast of 4.3%. US continued jobless claims, 1.786 million, higher than the forecast of 1.784 million. US PC prices prelim, 4.5%. Seeing a little bit of weakness in the US dollar, a bit of strength in the US S&P 500 off the back of that data.
All right, breaking news courtesy of our friends over there at the Macro Markets Group. So a special shout out going out to the Macro Markets team. If you want any more information about the terminal, you can have a look at their website. It's terminal.macromarketsgroup.com for more information. terminal.macromarketsgroup.com. Check them out. Really helpful to get the live data and get the feed. It's nice to have the squawk, and you can get the data almost instantaneously. All right. So with that, we're going to get on with the show. We have a jam-packed show for us today. Looks like we have about 300 views, 307 views across all platforms. What are we going to be focusing on today? Well, let's put on a little bit of music in the background. And what we'll do is, here we go. We're going to be thinking a little bit about how to navigate this AI bubble. Everything seems to be increasing in price, and it's almost like a game of musical chairs. You don't want to be the person who buys at the top. You don't want to be left without a chair when the music gets turned down. So we're going to help you to navigate through that. Also going to talk a little bit about the data that we just got. So a slew of data out of the US. Looks like a little bit of a muted reaction initially based off of the US markets. And what we're also thinking about today is, how are we going to prepare to trade today? How are we going to be ready to trade? We have a 55% chance of a trend day today. That's according to our official trend day algorithm. So 55% is nothing to be sniffed at. So we'll be ready to trade, and we're going to help make sure that you're all ready to trade as well. Make sure you check the live chat. We have a link for a $5,000 account with your name on it. If you're interested, have a look in the live chat, and we'll be giving away a $5,000 account courtesy of our friends over there at City Traders Imperium. My name is Mandela. We'll be back right after the intro to this show. We do these shows each and every Thursday. It's called the Pre-Market Show. Let's get over to the show. Welcome back, everyone. Looks like we have a good group of people, about 300 people across all platforms. We're streaming live on the Signature FX YouTube channel, also streaming live on the Signature FX X, or AKA formerly known as Twitter. And we're also streaming live on the City Traders Imperium YouTube channel. So 300 views. We need to get the likes up. So if you can, smash the like button. You know that it helps the algorithms. We like when you subscribe and you like and you share this with other people who will be interested in watching our shows. So it looks like we got the macro markets team in the saddle, in the cockpit, ready for today. We have I think it's going to be a good day. We looked at the weather forecast because we find when it's sunny in New York, it tends to be a fairly good day to trade. So have a look. Let's see if we have some time later on today, and we'll cover the weather update. It's been pretty hot over here in London town, piping. I would say coming in hot. That's what I'm like. That's what I feel like. So the data that we just got out, let's do a quick summary of the data. We had the squawk, courtesy of our friends over at Macro Markets Group. Check out the description if you want to get access to their squawk and their terminal. So if we're just going to summarize some of this stuff here, so core PCE came in slightly cooler than expected. Expectation was for 0.3%, was 0.2. Right in line, right on the nails, we like to call it, for the core PCE year over year. So that was right as expected. GDP coming in cool, a little bit softer on the GDP side. So expectation was for a 2% print, and we got 1.6. Durable goods better than expected, so that's a good sign. Initial jobless claims coming in a little bit worse than expected. So expectation for initial jobless claims, those people who are first applying for what they call jobless insurance, or they're basically recently unemployed. Expectation was for 211,000 folks and ended up being 215,000. So a little bit hot. Coming in hot on that one. PCE prices right in line. Let's go shimmy down to continuing jobless claims. So those who are already unemployed, continuing to be unemployed, slightly hotter than expected at 1.786K. 1,786K for the continuing jobless claims. So we are past the data. We have the data, and we're going to have a look at what has been driving this sort of AI bubble. Just a reminder to make sure that you enter the prize giveaway in the next 3 minutes. If you would like to enter, we'll put a 3-minute timer up on the top right. If you'd like to enter, we'll also put the QR code on the top left if you want to scan that, and then we'll also do a poll. Do you think the NASDAQ is going to finish today in the green or in the red? If you think it's going to finish in the green, type 1 in the live chat. And if you think it's going to finish in the red, type 2 in the live chat. Let's see what people are feeling for today. We've had a fairly good last few days, a lot of green. So do you think today we'll see a bit of a pause, or do you think that's going to continue? So just type the number 1 or the number 2. You don't have to put green. You don't have to say it's going to go to the moon or it's going to crash. The number 1 or the number 2 simply, and hit enter. Okay, so MU, way back in March, we were asked by a lovely group of people called LuminaFest. Shout out going out to LuminaFest. They wanted us to do the top 5 stocks to watch in March 2026. Top 5 stocks to watch in March of 2026. And it says, check out Mandela Fubler's top 5 stocks to watch. And this was on the 17th of March, 2026. So what did I put on there? I put MU. I said, the narrative is good. MU's looking good. At the time, I don't know if you can kind of see it. It's a little blurry, but the price of MU was sitting around $441 for a share of MU. And that would have been on the 16th of March. So we are putting our neck out there. Everybody's saying to me, Mandela, what are you, crazy? Are you stupid? The war is getting worse. Trump is going to crash the economy. Nobody cares about AI. And that's when you want to be looking at stocks like MU. So it was around let's say $442 in the sort of mid-March period. And then what happened? We got a dip after the March 16th. So people were really getting at me because of the escalation in Iran. Everybody's saying you are a stupid idiot. Nobody likes AI stocks. But lo and behold, we've actually hit all-time high in MU. It's up about 100, just over 100% since we identified it as a stock to watch in March. So we don't get them all right, but there is something to be said about going with the stocks that we think people are not focused on, or the stocks that people hate. The stocks that people are hating on, they tend to be the ones that you want to focus in on, because I mean, it's a well-known fact that over 80% of people who participate in the financial markets trading end up losing money over time. So I took a lot of flack for putting my neck out on the line for MU. And if you would have invested, let's say $441 in MU in mid-March, that would now be worth about $900. So you would have doubled, essentially doubled your investment. So just an example here of what is working. And what is working now is this AI boom. There is very little concern about what's happening in the Middle East. And I'm not taking away from, those who are impacted by this and those who are negatively affected. I think it's atrocious. And this program that we're putting together is focused on financial markets, and that's what we're going to focus on. And we can see very clearly that money has flowed very strongly into AI names. In particular, MU has done extremely well. What else are we looking at? So earnings. We had a really nice earnings announcement late last night from Snow. It's up about 36% in the pre-market trade. And then what happened basically is right here at the close yesterday, they had a really good earnings announcement, an earnings beat, and they also announced that they're going to be providing over $6 billion worth of cloud services for Amazon. And the market liked it. Stock investors, traders have pushed it up from what would have been $175 yesterday at the close, and it's above $230, which takes us to about a 36% increase overnight. So sometimes we talk about earnings, sometimes we don't. We did flag this one for those in the group, so everybody in the community would have had sight of this. It would have been posted yesterday, and we were saying that there was a 12% expected move in Snow. We also identified that there's usually a 12% move over the last few earnings. And then we looked back and we saw in December it moved down 11%. But interestingly, in August of last year, it was up a whopping 20%. And in May of last year, it was up 13%. So just something to be aware of. Earnings doesn't always work, but this is, I think, a good example of patience and picking the right spots at the right time. So before we go to do the prize draw, we're looking at an S&P that's a bit stronger here. After that slew of data, looks like the market's liking the certainty on the GDP and the PCE and the jobless claims. We're getting the 10-year government bond coming down a little bit. Oil's getting a bit softer. And then NASDAQ's higher. S&P here is higher. So may place a trade in a second. We'll see. May actually place a trade. So we're going to do the prize giveaway now. So no more entries, please. We're going to give away an account for $5,000. If you haven't entered already, then your time is up. We have closed all the entries. And I'm going to look here and see who we've got. Yeah, a good group of people. Looks like out of the 300 people watching at the moment, we have Hellboy, we have Bella, we have Bodyman, we have Jackie Kumar, we have Terry Too Cool, we've been talking to Terry, maybe getting Terry on the show in a little while. That's definitely a possibility. So let's get the duck race started, and then after that we're gonna have a look at some Forex. We've gotten some requests for some Forex type stuff, so I know that a lot of people do trade Forex, so we're gonna have a look at some Forex stuff. All right, here we go. All right, no more entries. All the best, everyone, and we're gonna put the clock on for about a lucky 12 minutes. Okay, there we go. All the best, everybody. May the best duck win. Here we go. And they're off. And they're off. All right, we'll come back to this in a little while. Looks like my FX note dressed as a panda duck. Panda bear duck. So we'll have some. We'll give them some time to make their way down the river bend, and we'll see who is going to be the winner of the $5,000 account. Thanks again to everybody who has joined in the competition for today. Okay, so we promised to do some Forex. We do want to remind you to please enter if you think that the S&P, the NASDAQ today, we did the NASDAQ today. If you think the NASDAQ is going to finish the day in the positive, or you think the NASDAQ is going to finish the day in the negative. If we have a look now, we see S&P is up after the news, the data that we got about 16 minutes ago. And NASDAQ is also a bit hotter, little firmer, I should say, not hotter, firmer, moving up over the last hour or so. So do you think that the NASDAQ is going to finish the day green or red? Remember to please just type 1 or 2, 1 for green, 2 for red. If you don't know what you're doing, it's either 1 if you think NASDAQ is going to be stronger today at the end of the day, or the number 2 if you think the NASDAQ is going to be weaker at the end of today. All right, going to put on a little bit more music, and we'll have a look at some Forex. And part of the Forex is we're going to also add in some commitment of traders, because the commitment of traders gives us almost like the smart money. What is the smart money doing? It's going to provide us with the insights of what is smart money doing, and how do we do that. So every single week, on the Friday, we receive an announcement from the CFTC about the positioning or the trades that have been placed. So institutions are required by law to file their futures trading contracts. So we'll start off with yen. This is a daily chart of the yen. And the way that we like to look at it is down the bottom here. We have the blue histogram, which is the large speculators, which tend to be the smaller hedge funds, and they tend to be wrong majority of the time. And then above that, we have what's called the commercials, and we like to follow the commercials. So the higher the commercials are to the upside, and let's see if I can make a little bit of a line. So we can see a sort of upward move by the commercials. This is telling us that smart money, or commercials, which are basically the institutions, the banks, sovereign wealth funds, are getting long yen. And it's interesting because we're seeing the yen come down, and looks like they're buying into this weakness. So different ways you can approach this. You can either trade dollar yen, you could trade pound yen, you can buy some yen ETFs if that's your fancy, that tickles your fancy. More than welcome to do that. The other thing that we like to look at is, what are the dumb money doing? The traders that usually lose money, essentially the 70% or 80% of traders who lose money over time. And they are trying to short this. FOMO is what we call it. So they're FOMOing into the short side on the yen. Interesting, I guess, to make a note that 1 yen will give you 0.006 cents. Just thought I'd mention that. So I like the yen here, and we're using the commitment of traders as our sort of main indicator. If you want more information about the commitment of traders, please let us know. We are happy to kind of share the information that we have, and always happy to kind of give insights into what we are looking at and what we are trading. We're going to actually take a quick commercial break. And reminder to enter the pool. We'll hide that for a second. We'll be back in a sec. We'll have a quick word from our sponsors. And then when we come back, we have some words of wisdom that we want to talk about. Also, we have some upcoming guests. So we want to share our upcoming guests, who they will be, and our plan to bring some more traders onto the show, into the platform, and provide you with other perspectives from other successful traders. So you don't want to miss the second half of the show. Don't forget also we have the duck race underway, and we want to find out who's going to be the winner. So we'll be back right after this. Welcome back. So let's have a look at the live chat. We have, looks like 387 views across all platforms. Thank you very much to everybody who is watching us live today, or if you're watching the replay as well, thank you very much for joining us today. So looks like we have some votes here. So we're going to give some credit where credit's due. Terry Too Cool says the NASDAQ is going to finish in the green today. We have Cal Kalulu, who was our winner last week. So nice to have you back. Hopefully your account management is going well. Let us know how your management is going for your $5,000 account that you won last week. Who else do we have here? Cal Kalulu, check your email, macro markets for May 21st. Okay. I'll have a look at that. Email received. Okay, so we're getting some correspondence going throughout the show. Great to see that the live chat is live and on fire. I'll pop it down there so I don't lose track of it. This duck race sweets me. Let's have a look and see who's doing what. I think looks like we had about 13 ducks or something like that. Let's have a gander and see who is doing what. Okay, so 5 minutes left. Bella, looks like Bella number 5 is taking the lead, closely followed by, looks like we have Jackie Kumar, MyFX Note, Terry Too Cool, and Imram, all trying their best to finish off the race strong. All right, so let's have a look at the macro markets. Well, we had a look at the macro markets platform. We'll probably get our good friend James DeGaris from Macro Markets to join us again in maybe on a future show. We do have another trader who goes by the name of Oleg, who's going to be joining us next week, Thursday. So prepare for that. It's going to be a great interview with Oleg. He trades mainly small cap stocks. So we're trying to cover individual stocks. We're covering Forex, and we'll be looking at small cap stocks as well. So here is the City Traders Imperium platform. Jackie Kumar, looks like Jackie Kumar was in the office 40 minutes early. I'll give you 100 extra points for that. MyFX Note saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, to covering all the bases. So New York, Bermuda, London, Germany. I think we have viewers from Qatar and China, Japan, Australia. Everybody is with us today. Looks like MyFX Note saying NASDAQ is going to be red today. And looks like, yeah, the Panda Duck is MyFX Note. All right, looks like everybody is up to date here. And looks like we have a mixture of longs and shorts for the NASDAQ today. Looks like Cal Kalulu is representing from East Africa. Well, welcome. Welcome to everybody around the world. No matter what time it is, no matter where you are, wishing you all the success in the world. And Nothing but profit. So we talked a little bit about the earnings, the earnings announcement from Snow. We covered MU, which has been completely just rip-roaring. Nobody wants to buy it now. Even people that are bullish AI have started to take profits on it. And it's becoming, like I said at the top of the show, it's becoming much like a almost like a musical Cheers. Nobody wants to be left without a chair. And you can look at your favorite stock. Either it's doing really well or it's not. They call it this way, the K shape. So the top of the K right now seems to be the AI and tech really leading the top end of the K. And then the bottom end of the K seems to be everything else. So there's a few theories in motion. Maybe we get a rotation. So a move out of what's working now. So selling of some profits, cashing in some profits on the AI story and moving kind of more broadly into maybe crypto, maybe into gold. We talked a bit about the yen. There was a Bank of Japan announcement earlier this week. So we're looking at the yen as a potential buy here. Trends continue until they end. And so our view is that the trend is our friend until it ends or until it bends. So our job is not to sort of stand in front of a rip-roaring rally and try to call the top. If you would have tried to do that, you would have gotten very much disappointed. If we go back to, let's look at the S&P, because that for me gives us a broad stroke of what's been happening across the market. So just a couple of our previous weekly outlooks. So in March, we were calling for further weakness all the way to here. So this is where we got the first time we got bad news out of Iran, and the S&P and most stocks actually finished green on the day. And for us, that was like, okay, maybe this is a change in tune. Maybe we're going to see a bit of a move. We got about 40 seconds, just under 40 seconds left on the clock. So let's wrap this up. Let's try and get our ducks to finish strong. So all the best, everybody. Let's see who's going to finish off strong here. We have in first place, looks like Imram taking what could be the lead here. Looks like Imram and Terry Too Cool out on the far lane, on the outside lane there. We got final stretch. I don't know what to call it. I don't know how to call it here. It's anybody's race. And it's Bodyman. I was going to say Budman, but it's not Budman. It is Bodyman. Congratulations on winning the duck race today. It's great to see. Let's give a round of applause. Well done. And I see some great sportsmanship in the live chat. People congratulating Bodyman for a great well-run race. Number 7 as well, no less. Lucky number 7 always seems to come up in the clutch. So congratulations, you will be receiving your $5,000 account courtesy of City Traders Imperium. Make sure you spend it wisely and you manage it wisely. Also, let us know if you do make it through and grow that account. This was the photo finish here for Bodyman. Very strong, well done, and congratulations once again. All right, so we're going to wrap up the show. We got about 2 minutes left. So if anybody has anything that you want me to cover or anything that you think we should be aware of going into the New York Open in about just over 30 minutes, we're going to be focused on our watch list. Today, our watch list is going to consist of Snow, and it's been anything but cold over here in steamy, coming in hot London. I have seen record temperatures of 90s. So Snow is a nice respite, a nice thought of coolness. Ticker symbol SNOW. Really fantastic earnings last night into this morning, and it's held up very well. So that's going to be at the top of our watch list today. Another one that we'll probably keep an eye on as well, like we said, is the MU story. So MU, we didn't get to finish this off, but we can finish that off tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow with our good friend Andrew. and we'll be talking how to prepare for the trading day. Also have a look at some of the data that's coming out tomorrow as well. So make sure you join our show tomorrow, same time, same place, where we'll be giving away another $5,000 account, and we will be giving you some more insights to prepare you for the final trading day of the week. And if I'm not mistaken, the last trading day of the month. So you want to be prepared for that. A lot of money managers are assessed on a monthly basis. So if you imagine your job is to perform better than the average, and you see your colleagues trading really well, trading things like, I don't know, MU this way, wrong way, this way, trading stuff like this, and they're doing really well, you're going to get assessed at the end of the month. So you're probably going to want to make your portfolio look as pretty and as impressive as possible. So usually month end gives us some opportunities, and we'll be preparing for those tomorrow as well. If we're going to do some key, let's do some key levels for the S&P, and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, we're still creeping higher. So nice little move, nice little pre-market crawl. I call this the upward drift. It's like the upward drift. It's like very slow. There's no spikes. Anybody who's trying to short it is getting their face ripped off very slowly, and it's painful for the bears. Very, very painful for the bears. I think it was about a month ago. We had a YouTube. I'll try and put the link in the top right corner. But there was a YouTube video that we did right here. It would have been on a Friday show with Andrew, and it was called Bears Getting Annihilated. Have a look at that. We were warning everybody, if you're shorting here, you're not making any money. Since that, we have continued to annihilate the bears. We saw a new all-time high this week. We're continuing to move higher. So, like I said, we're not trying to pick a top. If we're closing at all-time highs, that's usually a sign that we're in a bull market. We can also see we're in a bull market very clearly from looking at the chart. So we don't want to try and pick the top. If it does drop, we will have adequate opportunities to do so. I don't think we're dropping 5% in a day. So with that said, just remember, despite your opinions about Trump, despite your opinions about the war, despite your opinions about not wanting to FOMO into this rip-roaring rally, you don't have to have a position. If you don't want to get in, you don't have to get in. But please, please remember, if you are shorting here or trying to short here, and I've been there before, I've been in that position where it's run up so far, you can't FOMO in because your brain, your mind won't allow you to. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to pick the top, and you want to find that resistance. You want to find any opportunity for the price to go down. Yesterday was a great example where it tried to go down. S&P, NASDAQ went down slightly, but it didn't stay down. So you have to trade the market in front of you. It's basically what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so S&P levels today. Let's pull them up. Have I done this yet? Okay, you know what? We're just gonna yeah. This was yesterday. I kept it up. So yesterday started here. We went down, up, down, up, down, up. Pretty what we would call a chop suey sort of situation. I think all-time high is going to be important today. That's 75.39 on the upside. And then we hit an all-time high in pre-market on what would have been Monday morning when we had the Memorial Day holiday. So futures ended up hitting in the pre-market up at 75.52. I think that's possible. Can we go higher? Oh, yes, indeed we can. Looking at the weekly expected move is at 76.46. And then we also have a Fibonacci extension just coming in just over 7,656 on the upside. Can we move lower? Possibly. Key prices for us on the downside. I think if we can break through yesterday's low, then we'll look at the close on Friday. So we'll turn from green on the week, we'll turn red on the week, and then we have some previous all-time highs from earlier in May, and then we have last week's low coming in at 7,333. That's our thoughts. All right, I'm gonna have a sip of water, courtesy of our sponsors. That is good. That was some good quality water. All right, we're gonna get ready for the trading day. We got some congratulations going on. Coming from Terry, too cool. Congratulations, buddy, man. Came through in the final stretch. I know, good sportsmanship by Terry, too cool. I know you were in the running as well. Looked like you were right there, neck and neck in the end. A good, very good finish. Lucky number 7 finished off very, very strong. And then also, can't forget our friends over there in CTI land. We have Jackie Kumar, MyFX Note, Lima Akhtar. I'm not gonna try and pronounce that one. Looks like Gaming YT, Web3, ITDHD, Bodyman also in the chat, coming from Ethiopia. All right, let's go. And a few congratulations being shared across the live chat. So great sportsmanship is always lovely. And we will be back here tomorrow to do it all again. I did promise you all that I was going to give you some words of wisdom, and I'm not going to disappoint. So this is what we'd like to finish off with today. And it's very simple. So in terms of the principles for consistently profitable traders, number 1, protect capital first, pursue profit second. Number 2, missing a trade is better than chasing a trade too late. Number 3, position sizing matters more than win rate. Number 4, practice is a trading skill you can develop. I'm always practicing. I'm continuing to practice each and every day. Number 5, good risk management can save your account. Bad risk management can destroy it. Number 6, one good trade a day is enough. Remember that. Number 7, you can't trade every market condition all the time. And number 8, every big loss carries a lesson if you are humble. So that's our show for today. Everyone, thank you very much. My name is Mandela. This show was brought to you by our sponsor, City Traders Imperium. Once again, special thank you to everybody who has joined, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Looking forward to a positive trading day. Wishing you all the success today. We're going in today calm, carefree, fearless, and focused, and ready to trade. See you all tomorrow, everybody. Last day of the trading month tomorrow. Be ready for that. And also remember, tomorrow is Capital Preservation Friday. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and happy trading.